Hello, Big Show nerds. Once again, I am Dustin. These are your Nerd News headlines for April 20th, 2019. Before we get to the headlines, guys, just a few reminders, a little housekeeping. We will be doing some videos up on this channel from Dink, Denver, this year's Denver Independent Comic Book Convention, also known as Dink. We got some really interesting interviews and some just generally what Dink is all about stuff. So stay tuned for that. The Captain America Shield contest for Avengers Endgame is still going on and will come to an end this Thursday. So be sure to check out the Big Show Facebook page on how to enter to win one of those two awesome Captain America shields. And now into the news. Also, in housekeeping, real quick before we jump into this news, guys, there will only be one news headline show next week because I am going to another convention next weekend. And then the following week, I am in New Orleans. So I will try and get at least one done that week as well. But it will not be two for the next 2 weeks, just a single weekly update. So prepare yourselves. I will try and make them as complete as possible, but that is what's happening. And now let's hit the news. Jumping into TV news, an update on Star Trek Discovery. Season 2 just concluded. We're not going to talk about the conclusion of the show because I am like 3 episodes behind on that, but we are going to talk about the spin-off. Michelle Yeoh was talking to Newsweek, and she said that they're going to start in on production for Section 31, which if you've been watching the series, you know that is the top secret, the uber badasses of the Star Trek universe's Starfleet. It's like section, or it's kind of like in Transformers when they have, I think it's Section 9. It's kind of like that, just not funny. It's legit, like these guys are pulling secret missions and they're black ops and all that. So that sounds pretty awesome. But she says that they are going to complete production on season 3 for Star Trek Discovery proper, and then production for Section 31 will begin. Next update comes from the DC Universe app, kind of indirectly from the DC Universe app. It is about the DC Universe programming, and it is Swamp Thing. Ian Ziering, who is going to be in the series but is not playing the titular atomic monster, has posted to his Instagram a very brief teaser about, and the caption is "Try and drain this swamp." It was pretty cleverish, but the teaser is just a real quick, just a very, very brief glimpse of Swamp Thing in the shadows. And what we can see, interjecting my own little piece of opinion, what we can see is not great makeup wise. I hope this is just like an early production proof of concept thing, and the costume is not completed, or it's just bad lighting or something, but it looks really plasticky and it looks not great. Anyway, moving right along, we have an update from the Halo series on Showtime. They have cast Master Chief, and it's an interesting casting because it is Pablo Schreiber, who you might recognize from Orange is the New Black or American Gods. He will be playing Master Chief. And because he's not like a giant name, because he is not super well known for much, like Orange is a really big show and New Gods is pretty big, or American Gods rather is pretty big, but he is not a giant name himself. That could potentially mean that we will not be seeing Master Chief's face like some of us fans have feared they're going to do in this series. The series is supposedly going to be a prequel, so it is possible that we see the man who becomes Master Chief out of the armor, but I feel like if they do that, they're doing a disservice to their fans. Next up is a follow-up to a TV show that we talked about a little while ago on Generally Nerdy. It is Y: The Last Man. This is a comic book adaptation from a smaller, I believe it's an IDW published book. And it's an award-winning book. This is a very noteworthy book. We've talked about how they've been doing casting and how the pilot was shot and so on and so on and so on, and how it was making all this headway. And then FXX just announced, well, it was announced through the previous showrunner's Twitter accounts that they are no longer on the project. FXX is apparently changing paths. They want to, I believe the quote was, they are looking for someone who has reverence for the source material, but not so much so that they are apprehensive to change it. So what exactly that means remains to be seen, but that is a giant step backwards for the show. But it's not a death for the show, because the main actor set to play the Last Man is still attached to the project very, very much. That does it for TV. We're moving on to movies, and in movie news, we got a Minecraft movie. Apparently this, I vaguely remember, we might have actually talked about this on Generally Nerdy before, but I don't remember specifically. But there is a minor update to the Minecraft movie news, which is just a weird thing to say, but it just got its release date. It will be released on March 4th, 2022, and I do believe this is an animated movie. This is why the release date is so far out. Next up is Shazam 2. Michelle Borth, who played Mary in the Shazam family, the oldest sibling, has revealed in an interview that she signed a 5-movie deal. So we know Shazam 2 is going to happen. We know likely that will be the combination of Black Adam and Shazam. That's where they're going to meet up head to head. But beyond that, this is pretty big news. If this is crossover movies, it remains to be seen, or if there's just going to be 5 Shazam movies, that also remains to be seen. But being as Warner Brothers has announced that they don't want to do more shared universe stuff, that very likely means there are going to be 5 Shazam movies, or at the very least 5 Shazam and Black Adam related movies. So that's pretty awesome. Next up is kind of a meta piece, and is actually kind of a sad piece. If you are a fan of the Conjuring series or any of its spin-offs, the Nun, Annabelle, all of that stuff, the what is it, the Stick Man, or the Skinny Man, whatever, not Skinny Man, Skinny Man's different. The new spin-off that's coming out this year, if you're a fan of any of that stuff, then you know who Lorraine Warren is. Lorraine Warren, for those that aren't a fan of the horror movies, is one of the 2 actual people that is kind of sort of the basis for those movies. She is one of the ghost hunters, if you will. She just passed away. She was 92 years old. Apparently, she has been having issues, health issues recently, and they say that she passed quietly in her sleep just about 2-3 days ago. And then our last bit of movie news is also kind of a sad update. So with the merger of Disney and Fox, or the buyout, if you will, because Disney just said, okay, you're mine now. With that having happened, we knew and anticipated that some of the projects that Fox was working on, and has been announced so far, that some of those projects are going to die. They're just not going to happen. Some of them are, it's understandable. This one, not so much. It seems that Mouse Guard, which we talked about a few weeks ago now at this point, it seems that Disney wants Fox Studios, the movie studios that they are keeping in action, they want them to focus on more PG-13 and R-rated fare, and let Disney Studios handle the family-friendly fare. So, because this is Game of Thrones with mice, if you will, Lord of the Rings, or even with mice. They just didn't see a spot for it in the Disney pantheon and decided not to move forward with it. Now, that is not the complete death of this project, because the producer and the writer and all of the big names that are attached to this project are now just shopping it around to other production companies, and it looks like Netflix might buy it. And that does it for this episode of Headlines Nerds. Thank you very much for joining me to go deeper into these topics, plus many more nerdy bits. And you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy, where we talk about all of this stuff. Plus, I give you more in-depth coverage, more in-depth movie reviews, plenty more cosplay and Comic-Con stuff, and all that over on Generally Nerdy right here on YouTube. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms, and tune in next time for all that is happening across the nerd world.